Go back to team.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to be going over the company description to begin with, and then we'll look at their incentives for change, the process background of how they build their buildings. Then we'll look at 5 projects that I looked into, their waste issues, the options to resolve those, my recommendations, and the benefits of those recommendations. Then I will summarize the projects and then tell you about my thoughts on the internship experience and take any questions. RedGuard is a blast-resistant modular building manufacturer. They've been building since 2005 under the parent brand Lane. They have 23 sites worldwide, and they're headquartered in Wichita, Kansas. Their clients are varied, but primarily oil refineries, and I was located at the production center. The incentive for change that RedGuard has is that they're seeking ISO 14001 environmental management certification. This is to reduce their impact on the environment and their carbon footprint. This means that they have standards in place for their procedures and they are remaining in compliance with local laws and legislation. They are seeking continual improvement on their procedures, and they have a cultural company basis for the Lang 3 pillars of Jim Collins principles, health and safety, and quality. These are to find a sustainable and outcome. PPI operates on the triple bottom line, which is the planet, people, and profit that they are prioritizing for a sustainable future as well. When we're looking at the process, we'll look at the process background next, where RedGuard first takes their steel and builds the frame and the walls for the structures. Next, it goes into pole slag blasting, and then floors and insulation are installed. From there, they go to painting. Next, it is walls and ceiling installed. Then on to modifications for plumbing or HVAC, and then it is sent to the client for delivery. I looked at were wood waste, which occurs in the flooring and walls, part of the process. Cardboard waste begins with the steel's arrival as it's used as a barrier between the steel. Next, I looked at the solvent waste and paint waste and solvent reduction, which occurs in the painting process. And then I looked at the alternative blasting media, which is where the pole slag is meeting the steel. To begin with, look at the wood waste. During my internship, there was a week that I had worked with the shop floor to collect all the wood that they were disposing of. During this week, the employees stated that it was a low collection week. So we collected about 400 pounds of solid, which I define as 1x4s and 2x4s, and about 900 pounds of wood, which is plywood and OSB. It is estimated that on average, an average week would be about 1,600 pounds for a total of about 41.6 tons. I also collected pellets during that week and got 33 pellets, 60% of which were 40x48. This gives RedGuard an estimated annual total of 1,700 pallets. Potential options to deal with this waste include a portable incinerator and wood chipper. This would eliminate 66.3 tons from going to the landfill and reduce disposal fees by $2,300 annually. We also considered pallet selling through Evergreen Recycling. They'll purchase pallets that are 40x48 for $2.50 each. And then last, I looked at donating the usable wood waste, which could go to local nonprofits such as Habitat for Humanity, Make ICT, Go Create, which is a WSU coach collaboration, and local public high schools with a wood shop. My recommendations are that RedGuard pursues pallet selling. This would reduce landfill by 15 tons annually, saving RedGuard $500 in disposal fees. This would allow them to sell approximately 1,040 pallets, giving them an income of $2,600. I also recommend that RedGuard pursues donating their usable wood waste. This would reduce landfill by approximately 41 tons annually and save them $1,400, but also provide a tax-deductible opportunity to donate for about $57,000. This would eliminate 85% of their wood waste, giving them a total approximate savings of $62,000. Next, Other benefits of pursuing these recommendations are that the resold pallets go to Evergreen Recycling, which will refurbish their pallets, so that it reduces the manufacture of new pallets. By donating to the community, you are helping improve the skills of the individuals in it and the quality of living of its residents in return. Next, I looked at the cardboard waste at RedGuard. This is generated through all inventory arrivals. The inventory employees use recycle bins. They are located very close to their workspace. But most shop floor employees use the dumpsters that are located throughout the shop. Here's an example of one of the dumpsters on the shop floor. And seen here are the recycle bins that inventory uses. You can see 3 different weeks where I helped collect. In the middle week where I had most of the shop floor working hard together to get the cardboard waste. Waste management removes this on a weekly basis, and it costs on average $613 monthly to use this service. It is estimated that RedGuard produces about 500 pounds weekly and about 12.5-ish tons annually. It is recommended that RedGuard pursues cardboard baling to deal with this waste. This would reduce their pickup fees and save them about $7,400 annually. They could sell the cardboard bales to International Paper for about $120 per ton and provide them an income of about $1,500 annually. This would give them a total approximate savings of $9,000. Other benefits of cardboard baling include increased recycling, reducing the landfill by approximately 2.5 tons. As I stated, it's hard to measure exactly how much is getting disposed of in the trash cans, as well as reduce the demand for new cardboard to be produced. Next, I look at the paint waste of RedGuard. This is generated through a variety of factors, as you can see, but these are primarily related to the operation of the equipment and the equipment itself. To determine how much paint waste is being generated at RedGuard, you look at the transfer efficiency of the equipment. RedGuard uses a conventional airless system. I know it's really hard to see, but on there, RedGuard conventional airless system has a known transfer efficiency between 20 and 50%. When I tested the transfer efficiency, they had approximately 20% transfer efficiency. This means that 80% of the paint that they're spraying is wasted. So of the 5,300 gallons purchased last year, this means they wasted 4,300 gallons. They spent $338,000 last year on paint. This means that $278,000 of those dollars were wasted. The transfer efficiency is dependent upon also operator training, which accounts for 20 to 30% of that. RedGuard's options are to pursue an air-assisted airless system, which would provide a minimum 10% increase in the transfer efficiency, as well as reduce VOCs. They could also pursue electrostatic wet spray painting. This would provide a minimum 20% increase in transfer efficiency while reducing VOCs. Unfortunately, not all of RedGuard's paints currently are electrostatic compatible. So this may be a future thing that they can consider. RedGuard also has in the past used a local company called Spray for free training. They have not been able to offer this service since 2020. So the employees haven't received recent training. To remedy this, I could recommend SimSpray Go. This is a virtual paint booth system that would be highly transportable for all of their locations. My recommendations are that RedGuard pursues an air-assisted airless system, as well as SimSpray Go. Either of these can provide a 10% increase in transfer efficiency. The 10% increase will reduce 530 gallons and save RedGuard approximately $34,000. A 40% increase in transfer efficiency would save them 2,100 gallons of paint, as well as save them $114,000. Other benefits of pursuing these recommendations are the reduced VOCs. A 10% reduction would reduce 53 pounds of volatile organic compounds entering the atmosphere, as well as a 40% reduction would reduce 215 VOCs. Less hazardous waste would be generated by the increased efficiency. A 10% reduction in hazardous waste could be generated, saving them $12,000. A 40% reduction in waste would save them $46,000, for a total savings of between $79,000 and $114,000 annually. Next, I looked at the solvent reduction. This ties in very tightly with the paint usage. RedGuard uses methyl ethyl ketone, or MEK, to clean their paint equipment lines after paint. It is very expensive, and its price has increased more than 150% in the last year. It is hazardous and can cause serious eye irritation, drowsiness, dizziness, and serious damage to kidney and liver, as well as skin damage. It is suspected to also cause endocrine disruption, which would cause hormones to be incorrectly triggered, leading to cancer and birth defects. In 2019, RedGuard also had an intern. They recommended a distiller, and that was purchased in 2020 from RedGuard. The distiller has a manufacturer stated 90% recovery rate. This would allow RedGuard to eliminate their disposal fees of its hazardous waste. In 2018, RedGuard had 250 builds that they completed and purchased 15 drums of MEK. Last year, RedGuard had 186 builds and purchased 13 drums of MEK. What this is showing that the MEK recovery rate is not reaching the expected amount, and this is due to operator handling, such as the solvent buckets and distillation collection drum not being sealed after use. This could cause the loss through evaporation of 55 gallons annually. RedGuard currently runs their distiller approximately 30 degrees higher than the manufacturer recommendation for MEK. This is potentially due to help reduce the time of the distillation cycle. I also another option for RedGuard is to pursue an alternative solvent, such as methyl acetate. It is VOC exempt and is cheaper and safer, as it is not a known carcinogen or been shown to have lasting effects. My recommendations are that RedGuard alters their current procedures to make sure that the buckets and the distiller are being sealed after use. This would provide a savings of $850. They can also lower the temperature of the distiller and change how long it may be run. I also recommend that RedGuard pursues methyl acetate. This will provide them a savings of $1,900 annually, for a total savings of $2,800 approximately. Other benefits of switching from MEK to methyl acetate include the reduction of VOCs by 20,000 pounds annually. This would also reduce the exposure of the employees to hazardous waste. And finally, I looked at the alternative blasting media for the RedGuard. Currently, they use coal slag to clean the steel when it arrives. It costs $260 per ton approximately and has a disposal fee of $72 per ton. This is due to it being classified as a hazardous waste due to its potential content of arsenic, beryllium, cadmium, and cobalt. It has a most of 7. In the last year, RedGuard has purchased 315 tons of coal slag and disposed of 504 tons. This has cost them $35,000, and this is due to contamination that comes from the cleaning of the steel, as well as water that's entering the coal slag outside, because that's where it's stored. A potential option for RedGuard to deal with this waste is to switch to steel grit. It costs approximately $1,600 per ton, but has a recycling rebate that provides a potential of $75 per ton. It is highly reusable and could be used after 5 uses. It is more cost effective than coal slag. It has a most hardness of 8. This would provide a faster, more efficient production time. My recommendation is that RedGuard pursues steel grit. Due to its reusability, it can be used anywhere from 10 to 100 times. With just 10 reuses, this would save RedGuard $109,000 annually, with a potential maximum of $147,000 annually. The other benefits of switching from coal slag to steel grit include a reduced coal slag demand. This would improve air quality as air particulates are released during the process. This would eliminate 504 tons of hazardous waste from entering the landfill, as well as reducing freight transportation as less is required for the cleaning of the steel, and would reduce emissions through that. In summary of my projects, first I looked at the wood waste, which I recommended pallet selling and donation, giving RedGuard a total potential savings of $63,000, diverting 66.3 tons from the landfill. Next, I looked at cardboard waste, where I recommended cardboard baling. This would save RedGuard $9,000 annually and divert 2.5 tons from the landfill. And next was paint waste, where I recommended RedGuard new equipment and training for their employees. This would save $79,000 annually to $114,000, eliminating between 53 and 213 pounds of VOCs. Next, we looked at solvent reduction, where I recommended some alterations to the procedures, as well as a potential alternative for their solvent. This would eliminate 21,000 pounds of VOCs annually. And last, we looked at the alternative blast media, where I recommended that they switch to steel grit, and this would save between 109,000 to 147,000, diverting 504 tons from the landfill. In total, this would save RedGuard, by implementing all these projects, this would save RedGuard $263,000 to $336,000, preventing over 573 tons from entering landfill, over 21,000 VOCs from entering the atmosphere, and that's what I said. My thoughts on the internship is that I'm really glad I got to work with RedGuard and K-State. It was really fun looking at the different ways to improve their processes, and an eye-opening experience that I would really not have pursued otherwise working with an industry such as this. But I've enjoyed it far more than I would have expected. I really liked the excellent support provided by K-State PPI and RedGuard. It was amazing. The only dislike I have was it was a little bit of a struggle to get some shop employees to follow my requests, such as placing the cardboard to the side so I don't have to go fish it out of the dumpster. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions, please? Yes, Michael.
So for the process, was there like an exact specification of like how much paint had to be on a part?
Yeah, they use about when it's wet, it's about 10 to 12 mils and mils thick, and then it dries to about 8.
All right.
About 2 degrees or 2 mils thinner.
How precise was that?
Really precise, because they seemed like they measured it whenever we did the transfer efficiency test, as well as other times that I observed them.
I mean, I guess my question is does it need to be 12 mil to the like specification for quality, or is that just like varied and stuff?
I think it's a specification for quality, actually.
When you factored in your cost, or your savings, if you factor in the cost of the additional equipment I've seen throughout there?
No, but I do have the ROIs on all of that in the report. All of the ROIs are actually pretty quick. The longest one occurs for the steel grit recovery system for the steel blasting process. And it's a bit expensive, but it's recoverable within 2 years. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Was steel grit the only alternative that you looked at, or was it?
I did look at a couple of other ones. Unfortunately, they weren't as efficient to use. One of the previous interns had actually recommended walnut shells, which has a hardness of 3, so they would have used a ton of that. It really would have been a lot more landfill that they would have produced, but it would be a sustainable option. Yes, sir.
For communication wise, collaborative communication between yourself and staff,
Yeah.
what would be some of your suggestions from that?
I tried different ways to reach out to the staff during my week of production, such as putting up signs and talking with them during the beginning of the week when they had their morning meetings. That seemed to work, but I guess more of the challenge was for them to get out of their normal routine. Because they have their routines. Just maybe getting more consistent reminders might be helpful. Maybe the signs were up on the first day. So if I had done that from the beginning, it might have been easier for them to recognize. Other communication. I'm sorry, I didn't repeat one of these questions once.
Right. Luckily, some of them were fairly loud. but
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you can repeat.
Dax asked if there were any recommendations that I could provide for the ease of communication to the employees. I think just making sure that somebody's there to kind of check on how things are going would be the easiest way, because when I was coming around and starting to collect cards during the week, the second week, as you saw on that picture, which I'll go back to, I think it's amazing, personally. During that week, once I was coming around very frequently, they did start to leave it out. And the first week, not enough communication. Second week, that's when I really hit them hard and put up signs everywhere. It was going great. Didn't get a wait that week. So the third week is when I finally got an estimate of how much cardboard waste could be generated. Again, I think the guys could have been tired of me by then because I still had my signs up, but they were just kind of like, oh, still. So just kind of getting them into that awareness that it's still a thing will be a challenge. Yes, sir.
So you needed 3 weeks of collection.
Mhm.
What did you-
Yeah, we just couldn't get a weight on it. It was a bit of a challenge to organize that weighing before the recycling guys came and picked it up, because I wanted to make sure I got as much of a full week as I possibly could.
So you said this, I think, in the previous slide, but you had a cardboard dumpster in shipping or receiving, but not on the shop floors.
So if you can see that sign right up at the top, it says delivery and pickups. That's where inventory is. It's right there. So they have perfectly access. They have great access to it. So one of my recommendations, not featured in this, is to provide other opportunities throughout the shop for them to collect that cardboard.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
but I
please.
always do, right?
Thank you.
And it's just because I have had the opportunity to work with a lot of these industries and know their process.
Mhm.
Not like you, but one of the things I noticed on your table said net savings. So that told me that included the capital cost of any machinery or anything like that.
My apologies.
Okay, so we might just want to add it back to
Okay.
slightly. So that's annual savings, not including
Not including the
capital costs.
costs, right?
And obviously we didn't talk ROI, but that's big.
Mhm.
part
Oh,
of it,
yes.
Right? And wow, you really found a ton of savings. I was curious a couple of things, and this is, this is just me having worked in this industry for a long time, especially in painting and coating. And so I know we talked about HPLP.
Mhm.
What was the feeling on HPLP? Because we could increase transfer efficiency possibly up to 60%, right?
Well, airless also goes up to 60%. The problem with HVLP is that it is more time consuming. When I talked to Rod Sands of Spray Equipment, he said that's a little bit slower process, whereas air assisted airless has a comparable painting speed to what they're currently using. So it wouldn't take them any bit longer with the other equipment that I recommended. While it would still provide the same transfer efficiency possibility that HVLP did.
And then Rod, did he tell you about the, cause I've worked with him and spray equipment is obviously a great company. But, do they own the Simco, the virtual
No,
people?
that's actually through, Nancy's question was who provides SimSpray Go. SimSpray Go was a company that I found online that provides, VR systems with the training programs, on them. And that, I don't remember where it's located. I wanna say it's somewhere on the East Coast. But they do not just provide paint, they provide blasting and a couple other things.
Wow, okay, I'll have to look at that one, that's new. So our, WSU Tech, they call themselves, out over on North West Road, they used to have a virtual paint booth.
But not that I could find anymore.
Okay.
And the painting programs that they do offer training for were only specific for aerospace. And so that's not as applicable for the manufacturing painting that they're doing.
Okay. And so spray equipment, if you are their client, every day they've got spray equipment days. And usually they've got a virtual paint booth there.
They haven't been able to.
I'll have to look at that because COVID changed a lot of things. I sit on their, and my spray board, painting coding.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is mostly aerospace. And then, but they have had a complete, turnover in their staff. Compared to the ones that I worked with pre-COVID.
The great thing about the SimSpray Go is that RedGuard has such a variety of locations across the United States and around the world that this would allow them to train their other painters who may not have that local spray equipment company or other facility that would provide training for them. So.
And the only other thing I was going to point out, and Jacob, we have, and if you would just make sure to read this, Lindsey, that you are a sustainable material management intern. We're funded under that particular grant.
Yes. My grant comes from the sustainable management aspect, which means I'm looking at the waste that they're generating and how we can reduce that. Ideally, reduce the source reduction and then go on from there so that we can get it as possible. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to explain that one. Yes, Michael.
What were the all those pallets for?
That's a great question. Some pallets arrive with steel on them. Some pallets arrive with big sheets of OSB, or there's flooring that goes into the RedGuard safety suites that are like rubber floor mats. Those are heavy. They come out on pallets like that. And then most of the other ones I think are just inventory that's arriving, like freight, stuff like that. I can't give any specific on that, sorry.
Lots of pallets everywhere, right?
Thank you.